I have no idea what's going to happen.
Now, if a person would like to know why is it important for, maybe your children to be here on Sunday morning or Wednesday night, I don't think they're going to have too many opportunities to learn to stand up in public, be able to present themselves in public, and be able to talk about Jesus Christ in a public manner. This is what we're able to learn to do here, and I'm very proud of them. Brother Randy and I will be working on the message together this morning, something you don't see very often. Two preachers working on the same thought. I'm going to have about half of it, or about a third of it. He's going to have about 2/3 of it. But before we get started, Randy, if you would, why don't you come up here and let everybody know what's going on at school, and I'll get ready for my part. Well, I thought maybe we'd just go fishing this morning a little bit. For about the last month or so, except for Mother's Day service, we've been trying to do a month of illustrative preaching by doing things and putting them out in front of you for visual presentations. And I want to let everybody know something. I used to be a pretty good fisherman. The reason I say I used to be a pretty good fisherman is I used to go fishing a lot. Then a couple of things happened. Church started to grow up here, and I didn't have nearly as much time to fish as what I used to have. And then the other thing happened. I went to day shift after about 25 or 26 years of working at nights. And boy, I didn't have nearly as much time to fish once I went to days as what I had on nights. And I always liked to be active and doing things. I started going to ball games and found out that I enjoyed the ball games as much as I ever enjoyed fishing. But anyway, I don't think I was too bad of a fisherman. I'd get my pole out and I'd go fishing. And boy, I tell you what, I had my favorite places I like to go. I love to go down Castor River. I'd rather fish on Castor River than anywhere else. And depending on the rain and the water level, I know just exactly where to go to catch the most fish. And I had all kinds of tackle there. And got your own minnow bucket. I never did really carry very many minnows. I used to go out and catch crawdads. That was my favorite bait. And still is my favorite bait. But remember one time I called Wayne up and I said, Wayne, I got more fish than I can clean. I don't have time to clean them. And I think Wayne came over to the house and had a whole cooler full that day. Stacked all the way up to the top and said, just take what you want. I just really enjoyed fishing. Or being a good fisherman there. And I thought about when I was growing up, when I started to put Jesus Christ in my life. The Bible says that one time Jesus was walking by the Sea of Galilee and he saw two brothers there. Simon called Peter and Andrew his brother. And they were casting their nets into the sea, for they were fishermen. I thought, I've got an awful lot in common with them. I like to fish. And about 36 years ago, sometime around the 1st of June, I started to take this Christian work a little bit more seriously than what I'd ever taken it before. Matter of fact, I'd always just kind of went to church before, and never did really think too much about becoming a fisher of men like Jesus wanted them to become when he said, if you just follow me, I'll make you fishers of men. So anyway, I started going to church and listening to what they had to say for a change instead of just enduring it for a little while. And again, that's about 36 years ago, and I listened to the teachers teach about fishing, and I listened to the preachers preach about fishing, and I listened to the singers sing about fishing, but I was just really having a hard time putting it all together. And I started to think about this thing of being a fisher for men. How much did it have to actually resemble maybe being a fisherman for fish? And I'd go to the church there, and it's kind of like fishing in the bait shop. Now, you know where the best fishing's done? It's done in the bait shop. You go in there, and you got all the fishermen gather up, and they start talking about what lures to use, and they talk about what bait to use. And I was reminded back to when I was growing up, when there was still a Wiseman store down at Duck Creek. Jerry Wiseman, a very good friend of mine, his dad Raymond ran it. I'd go in there in the morning, and Jerry would ask Raymond when they'd get ready to open up. I'd usually be there before they opened up. Jerry would say, hey, Dad, what have we got the most of today? Crickets or worms or minnows? And anyway, Raymond would tell Jerry, well, we got a lot of minnows. And people would come in, they'd say, Jerry, what are the fish biting on? He'd say, minnows. If they had too many crickets, they'd be biting on crickets that day. Or no matter what it was, that's what they were biting on. I thought, these boys are pretty sharp now. And anyway, I thought, boy, it's kind of like church. And we go into church and we talk about being fishers of men. And we have seminars on how to catch fish and how to win people to the Lord. And, we got DVD series on how to win people to the Lord. We'll have seminars on how to win people to the Lord. And it seems like some of the very best fishing is taking place in the boat shop or the bait shop there, if we could call that church. But the fact of the matter is, you don't catch very many fish in the bait shop, do you? But if you ever want to find a bunch of people who call themselves fishermen together, it's going to be in the bait shop. And all of them are talking about being, good fishers and what they catch their fish on. And anyway, we like to talk, but we don't get the walk done. Well, anyway, Jesus looked at Peter and he looked at Andrew and he said, "Follow me and I will make you fishers of men." And one day I heard Jesus say the very same thing to me when a minister was preaching, and I've been thinking about it for a long time. "Follow me, Keith, and I'll make you to be a fisher of men." Well, the most amazing thing happened when I started taking that more seriously than just words, that I was put here on this earth to see people won to the Lord. I found out that the best fishing doesn't always take place inside the church building. It seems like we hone and focus so much of our attention on something that's supposed to happen in a half hour or 45 minutes. In church on Sunday morning, we forget the rest of the week. And so I started fishing outside the church. I was only about 18 years old at the time. I'd go down here to the mill dam at Zalma. It'd be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And the boys would be down there talking and, just doing like teenagers do. And sometimes they wouldn't be in the best of shape to drive home. And I just offered to drive them home. And I'd take the long route. It didn't matter if their home was 20 minutes away. I'd take the 2-hour route. I loved to drive anyway, and I just talked to them about the Lord. 4 o'clock in the morning come around, I'd be talking to them about the Lord. I remember one of the establishments down Duck Creek was called the 51 Club. We'll get a little rowdy down there once in a while. I remember standing on top of my car down at the 51 Club and preaching to people at 2 o'clock when they come out that Jesus Christ had something better for you than what you're doing right now. And I just love telling people about Jesus. And the Lord, He allowed me to go ahead and preach and start the pastor. And I found out that you can win people to the Lord in the hospital. You can win people to the Lord at the house. And I got to see people won to the Lord in their car. And I just love this. Being a fisherman of men was what it was all about. But there was one problem, I could only reach out so far. That's about all the farther out that I could reach when it would come time to go fishing there. I could only reach so far. And according to Jesus, because Jesus Christ is the ultimate fish finder, we can have a Lawrence fish finder, we can have a hummingbird fish finder, we can have an eagle fish finder. But Jesus Christ was the ultimate fish finder, and He knew that there was fish all over the place that I just wasn't able to reach here with my limited scope of operation. And the Bible says that we're to go into all of the world and preach the gospel to all of His creation, or to every creation. And I thought to myself, well, Lord, how in the world can we extend the preaching of this gospel beyond the Zalma area or beyond the Advance area? Because if you said that we're to go, that means we're supposed to be mobile. And one of the things that I know about good fishermen they're mobile. That river's going to warm up a lot slower than the lake will. So if I'm going to catch fish early in the season, I need to go where the water's warmer. I need to be mobile. I've got to be able to get back on the lake. And if I want to be real mobile, then I'm going to need a boat to get me from one place to the other on that lake. So if they're not biting one place, maybe I can get to the other there. And I know that fish hang around structure. And if you're going to catch fish, you might maybe pick one out if you're just out drifting around in the lake. You might pick one or two off here and there. But if you want to find fish, they're going to be around structure. If you would take this object here and put it in the water to a fish, that would represent structure. This pulpit, if it was in the water, would represent structure to a fish. And, if you got the right tackle and you've got your net here, and I want to thank Ricky Williams this morning for teaching me how to set up like this, because he taught me how to fish for trout. And I want to let you know something, I've had more fun fishing for trout than I've about ever had doing anything else. Well, then, you need to have everything ready to go. And I thought, structure, if you're going to catch people for Jesus Christ, you need structure. And if you're going to be catching people for Jesus Christ and winning them to the Lord, because the reason you do it, you don't want to see them to spend eternity in hell, well, then you got to have structure. So We've got to have a structured church. That means everything from a structured